Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. And this is all about a guy who's 33 years old, and he shares his story about how a couple of years ago he started dating this woman who was a lot older than him, a cougar. She was in her late 50s, and according to him, that she was damn good looking, great body because she practiced yoga, crazy in the sack, all these good qualities that he obviously was attracted to. And of course, she cooked, she cleaned, laundry, all that stuff. So he thought he found himself a good deal, right? And obviously he's attracted to much older women. To each their own. So, okay. But anyhow, he thought that he got himself a good one, right? Because he figured that, hey, you know what? Maybe all this crap I hear about women today in their 20s, 30s, or 40s, because I got myself an older woman, a cougar, that she's probably past all this stuff. And you're going to see that after a while, the whole honeymoon period ends and her true colors start to come out, which match and mirror exactly what I talk about younger women in this channel with so many stories and articles and things that I do. Because in the beginning, everything was great, and then she started manipulating him and trying to get him to spend money on her and give her money and all these other things. And ultimately, you're going to see that the guy has a very good job, makes really good money, works hard, but ultimately, you're going to see one day he loses his job, and what happens to her then. So I'm going to jump into this story here, and there's a bunch of lessons here to be learned, guys. One of the biggest ones is that women are women no matter what. Women are women all around the world. Doesn't make a difference what age they are, what culture they are, what religion they are, all those different things. The same characteristics and qualities that women have in one part of the world, they have in another. And it doesn't make a difference what age they are, okay? Now, does this mean that all women are like this one and the stories I do? No. Because you do have good ones out there, but they're more and more rare, unfortunately, in today's world. But the thing is, this guy thought he got himself a good deal because she was older and probably passed some of that stuff. Not the case. So you got to be careful and understand that female nature, or the ugly side of female nature, could be anywhere, any age. And that's a big lesson. And other lessons are basically don't give money to women, okay? I'll get into that more, and obviously pay attention to the red flag. So I'm going to jump into the story here. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Starts off, hi SSM. I've been watching your channel for a while now. I'm 33 years old, and I live in California. Sorry if my writing style is a little rusty. I'm an engineer by trade. We don't usually write novels. I've been in a relationship with a significantly older woman who was 58 years old 2 years ago when our relationship started. You're into cougars, right? To each their own. I was unfortunately thirsty and was enmeshed in her looks. He says in parentheses, she's very well preserved for her age and her sexual performance. She's a yoga practitioner and can do many things that young big girls can't dream of. Plus, she shared all my kinky habits, which was a big plus at the time. So, you got sucked in, no pun intended, by her looks and the action and her lifestyle and what she was into, okay? Someone like this is someone to play around with and have fun with if that is indeed what you're into cougars, okay? But in my opinion, not for anything serious, especially after you started seeing all the red flags, okay? And I've said this before, guys. I mean, you can have damn good-looking women in their 50s, okay? I know some, but they got to work very hard at it, okay? And he says right here she was into yoga. So women that tend to be lifelong practitioners of yoga are usually in fantastic shape and also extremely flexible, which is definitely is a benefit. But women can look darn good in their 50s. They work out, they eat well, all that stuff, dress well, take care of their hair, their nails, their makeup, their skin, all that stuff. But we all know it's not the same compared to when they're younger. But everybody's into what they're into, so okay, fine. But for serious relationships, you gotta really question these things. You also have to question is, why is it that she's been by herself this long? These are little things you gotta ask. He says she was initially very cooperative, fun in bed, and easy to work with. She would cook, clean the house, do the laundry, dishes, etc. I had a high-paying job that required 14 to 16-hour workdays, so having her in my life was a breath of fresh air, and I guess a reminder that there could still be okay-ish women out there. So he thought everything was great. And guys, I've told you so many times about the honeymoon state. Here we go with the sirens again. It's been a while, but now they're after me again. the honeymoon period, the honeymoon stage, everybody's on their best behavior, okay? But after a while, usually 3 to 6 months, that starts to wear off, and that's when you start to see the other person's true colors, okay? So this is why I tell you guys, don't go jumping into exclusive relationships or anything serious for easily 6 months to a year, because you really want to get to know the person and see what they're like, because everybody can put up an act in the beginning. But these people that jump into exclusive relationships after a few dates, or they they move in with the girl after only a few months, or even some crazy situations, they marry her after not knowing her that long, they're out of their damn minds. Okay, that's all the crap you see in the movies, but the movies are a bunch of BS. Okay, in real life, you got to take your time. He says, he goes on, I've been in some bad experiences in the past and pretty much have given up on pursuing women for a few years until she appeared in the picture. In hindsight, I should have stayed on my square and told her to bugger off. So again, he thought because, hey, I got an older woman here, maybe she's past all that BS that he's dealt with before with the younger women. Well, you're going to find out that's not the case. Fast forward a few months, what I tell you, after a few months, she started complaining that everything was so expensive and life was tough. For perspective, she works as a live-in nurse for elderly, so she can barely afford her gas money. Well, life is hard and life is tough, and you have to deal with it, okay? But I'm willing to bet you, given what I know about how the rest of the story goes, and obviously he said that she's very good looking and a good body for her age, probably her way of dealing with a tough life and things being expensive was always finding some guy that she could milk it from. And you're going to see here, same deal. He says, for perspective, she lives as a live-in nurse, blah, blah, blah. I acted like Captain Save Garden Hoe, and I started giving her money, fixing her car, buying her jewelry, wine and dine treatment, taking her to Vegas, etc. The whole blue pill, beta male idiot that you read in the books. Guys, I've said this before, and I will say it again, and I will continue saying this all the time. Do not give women money, okay? The only exception is that obviously if you are married and you obviously have joint expenses for things like that, okay? That's the only exception, okay, if you go down that path. But if it's just a girl you're dating or your girlfriend, do not give her money. Do not make her car payments. Don't give her all these things. If you're in an exclusive relationship and you've started that, at least after 6 months, I would say more like a year, and on special occasions like her birthday or something like that, then you can do little things. But just out of nowhere, constantly buying her gifts and expensive jewelry and all these things, no, okay? Because there are some that will milk it for everything it's worth, okay? You got to be careful about this. And that can be perceived as you trying too hard, and they'll lose respect for you, okay? So you leave the gifts and things like that on special occasions when she's earned it. A lot of guys will give women gifts to get their affection. You know, only when they've earned it and done things, being a good girlfriend, loyal, caring, loving, supportive, fun, drama-free, then on special occasions, then you may do some gifts, but be careful with the amount of money you spend, okay? Because you be throwing that money right out the door if she's a user, which this woman is. And as for trips and whining and dining, if she's your girlfriend and you enjoy doing things together, that's one thing. You can obviously take her out, you know, obviously she also sometimes takes you out and spends things on you. And as for the whole vacation thing, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to Vegas or I'm going to whatever, you're welcome to join me, but she contributes to part of the bill. It isn't you paying for everything. But it sounds like right here, that's what this guy was doing, because that's what he thought he was supposed to do, because, hey, that's what you see in movies and TV. So, of course, that's what you do. He learns. He goes on, she wasn't happy because I didn't want to participate and convert to her stupid guru and yoga scammy beliefs. If you're interested, search Pillai on the internet to see how these post-menopausal women are so easily parted ways with their money. Pillai is spelled P-I-L-L-A-I. Well, I will check that out when I'm done this video here. So she's complaining about the life, complaining about things being expensive. She's starting to milk him for his money, getting him to pay for things. Now she's trying to convert him to her quote-unquote religion. See? When weakness is spotted, more and more is taken. Idiot me, I believe there could be something we could do. So I started couples therapy. I know, are you insane? Did a brick fall off the wall and hit me in the head? She was uncooperative and only wanted to change me. I'm a staunch atheist, but I keep it to myself. I almost never discuss religion with anyone. Somehow, she wanted me to embrace the higher being, or whatever, other spiritual BS. We eventually continued our relationship, however damages as the differences between us were the size of the Red Sea at this point. You know, opposites attract, don't get me wrong, but there are certain things that just are deal breakers, okay? Especially when it comes to religion, okay? But given the fact this is like a complete stereotype about California, and I was born and I lived in California for the first 9 years of my life, so I can make fun of California. I earned the right because I was born there. It's interesting the certain stereotypes. That she's from California, she's into yoga and all that stuff. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with yoga, but she's also into this spiritual guru nonsense. This doesn't surprise me in the least, okay? It's a total stereotype. During COVID, the company I worked for cut costs drastically, eventually leading to my firing in late October last year. Lo and behold, my girlfriend wanted to rediscover herself and do regression therapy to get back to her normal self, whatever that is. She literally dumped me as soon as she found out I got sacked, just like you throw a bag of old used diapers in the trash. So for a couple of years he's been with her, and in the beginning everything was great because he thought, she was different because she was older, she wasn't going to be like the rest. And then she started milking him for his money and getting him to pay for things and all that and trying to change him, right? Loses his job, boom, she's done. The gravy train is gone. Move on to somebody else. That sucks. Here I am in November of last year without a job, without a girlfriend, and a nasty burnout, PTSD from the ridiculously exhaustive job I've had during the pandemic, early days. And he says in parentheses, global SLT management, meeting from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. most days. Damn, that is a crazy schedule. I'm all about people working hard and being on their grind, but the way you described the 14 to 16 hour days, damn, dude, I hope you're making a lot of money and putting it away, not just blowing it on her. But I don't know if you've got your job back again, but I really hope you can find something that you can, that's obviously in your trade, in your area of expertise as an engineer, but you're not doing 14 to 16 hour days, man. That's tough stuff. I really hope you're getting a ton of money for that. Moral of the story, don't be like me. Don't ignore the red flags, no matter how good she is in bed. Don't date and invest money in old, deflated, worthless pee. Speaking in code there. Don't support her mental issues, whether they manifest like bipolar, anxiety, spiritual dependency. Don't be a doormat like I was. And most and foremost, always remember that women don't give 2 dead cents for everything you've done for them. The moment the money stops flowing in their lazy asses, you're toast. Out the door and blocked on WhatsApp. I hope this story will be useful for some of your subscribers that still believe cougars might be interesting. They're not. It's not just a bunch of broken leftovers, single for all the good reasons. Keep strong, brother. Well, that's quite a story, and I appreciate this guy sending this. This guy obviously swallowed his pride and realized that he screwed up, but figured, hey, you know what? I can share my story to help some other guys not make the same mistakes I did. But this is a mistake so many guys do. They get involved with a woman, and they think that she's great, everything's cool, and they got to be the hero and start helping her with her bills, making the car, more fucking sirens, Jesus, paying the car bills, paying the rent, all that stuff, buying her this and this, trying to get her approval. Guys, don't do that. The second you think, if you're even asked to do this, you probably won't be asked, you're probably more manipulated in doing this, that's time to bail. Seriously, okay? Believe me, in today's world, when everything's supposed to be equal and a woman can do anything a guy can do, and believe me, guess what? They can have great jobs and make great money. They don't need a guy to pay for the bills, so don't be a sucker, okay? Don't be like this guy. And pay attention to the red flags, okay? There's always red flags. You start seeing red flags, pay attention to this. I don't care how hot her body is. I don't care how freaky she is in the sack. Believe me, like this guy will come back to bite you in the ass. And last but not least, with regards to cougars, because this guy obviously had a cougar thing, at the end of the day, people are people, women are women, human beings are human beings, no matter what age they are, okay? All can have bad behavior. Does this mean that every single woman that would be considered to be a cougar in their 50s or older is going to behave like her? No, of course not, okay? But there are plenty that will. So you got to be careful. You got to watch out, guys, and use this guy's bad experience as a lesson. And so for this guy here, again, thank you for sharing your story. I certainly hope you've gotten a new job at this point, but if you haven't, keep on grinding. I hope you can get a job in the future where you're not working as many hours. And in terms of the dating and relationship front, you learn the hard way. Be careful, okay? Later on down the road, you may want to eventually start dating and go into relationships again if that's what you want to do. Pay attention to the red flags and stop giving away your money and pissing away your money. And I'm going to guess this guy probably will not make the same mistake again. But sometimes you got to learn the hard way. But it's funny how she wanted to convert him to her religion, the whole spiritual thing like that. I'd like to know what her spiritual gurus thought about her up and ditching this guy the second the money stopped, right? And probably what she would say is, hey, you know, this was meant to be. You learned the hard way from me so that you can go share this with the world. That's probably the bullshit we use to rationalize the actions there. But anyhow, guys, thought that was a good story and you guys can learn from it. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Guys, let me know in the comment section if you ever experienced a situation where you have been just like this guy. Paying the bills, paying for this, paying for that, and then just you lose your job or the money stops and boom, she's out of there and ghosts you. Let me know. This will help guys out. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.